Take 5 with Ricovibes, the ultimate in entertainment. Live interviews, social commentary, and so much more. Go tell somebody you're now locked into Take 5 with Ricovibes. This episode of Take 5 with Ricovibes is brought to you by...
The most talked about Friday night party goes down every Friday. Feel Good Friday. Each and every Friday night inside Bliss Lounge. Featuring Atlanta's hottest DJs weekly. With a guaranteed vibes. Free birthday sections plus lots of drinking bottle specials all night. To reserve VIP sections, call 404-304-9968. Everyone free with RSVP. Get tickets online at feelgoodfridayreturn.eventbrite.com. It's a vibe. Feel Good Fridays at Bliss Lounge, 5471 Memorial Drive in Stone Mountain.
What's up, everybody? It's yours truly, Ricovibes, and welcome to another edition of Take 5. I got a very special guest in the building. Goes by the name of Colle Kharis, right?
Kharis.
Colle Kharis. Colle Kharis. Yeah. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man. I've been reading over your bio, and you're a jack of many hats, many trades. Mm-hmm. So where do you want to start first?
Well, we can do a quick run through. I am originally from Guyana, South America.
Okay.
Came over here, the family came over, as many Caribbean people do, straight to Brooklyn, New York. Went to high school.
Stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Which high school did you go to?
Prospect Heights.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay. All right. I live close to Erasmus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
So graduate there, dabble in entrepreneurship for a little bit. I had a clothing store upstate New York. And after that, I joined the military. As far as the music career goes, I actually got my first signing just out of high school to Trackmasters, which a lot of hip hop heads will know. They're really big.
They were the original hip hop team.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So me and this other Guyanese guy, we were signed. We were called Double Impact. I did the reggae. He did reggae at the time too, but he transitioned to more of a hip hop. And but they had a lot of artists and there was a lot of uneasiness, trying to get up. So those guys was like, what, we just gonna stick to producing. So after that, I was like, I'm not moving back with mom in the house.
Right.
So I joined the military, and once I got into the military, my career started taking off. A lot of shows, big artists and stuff started taking off. Wayne Wonder, a lot of hip hop cats, Last Boys and stuff.
Really?
Worked with all of them.
And this was all in New York?
No, this was in the military.
Oh, in the military. Where were you stationed?
In the Panhandle of Florida Panhandle. So they would come out there and perform, or we'd open for them and stuff.
Wow.
But where the military goes, service before self. So
absolutely,
we had to put it in the back burner. But now I'm doing it full time.
Okay. But what made you get into music though? Was it always a dream of yours?
Not really as a kid. So it was a transition. So my dad was really big into music. So he was in the Guyana Defense Force. And when he come home, that's all he did. He had his little turntable, 4 to 5 record.
Was it the oldies?
Oh yeah. You put one on, you flip it over for the next side.
Right.
So my family, we grew up around music.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where the spark came from.
Gotcha.
And actually, pretty much, I think I'm the only one that doesn't really play. Me and my sister don't play instrument. Everybody, my dad, I've never seen it, but I heard he used to play the drum. My oldest brother used to play the drum for the national band, Guyana National Band. Used to play for the president and stuff. My younger brother, nephew, all of them play steel pan. So I can play the kettle drum, but if you have any rhythm, you can play the kettle drum. So
you got a musical family, of course.
Everybody played. My other brother, Ray, he plays also. So, but that's kind of where it started. And then once I saw the reggae Sunsplash and the Sting, that would me start taking it serious. It's like I can do that,
Gotcha. So did you gravitate towards reggae mostly or hip hop? Which one was it?
Reggae. Dancehall reggae is my foundation.
Gotcha.
So that's where.
I mean, Guyana is not really known for music, though, necessarily.
So we're not known as far as music origin. They have Trini for their soca, calypso and stuff, Jamaica, but it's not really known. There is like a folk song style, African influence music that is very big in Guyana. I can't remember what it's called, but there's another artist. He does a lot of song. I think it's called Gucci something. Another Guyanese artist. He's a lot of his music isn't that realm, but I've never really gravitated to that style.
Wow. Yep. Where do you see yourself going, or where do you want to go with the music?
So my goal is to play major stadiums. So I want to do major reggae festivals, the Ratatam, like in Spain, you know, those type of shows within the next 5 years. That's my trajectory. That's my goal where I'm trying to get to. And even in the United States, I'm trying to, that's the avenue I want to be in, is doing these major music festivals. Any
particular producer, any artist that you want to work with?
So a lot of artists out there. One of them, which I don't know if it might surprise you or not, because he's more in the dancehall, Capleton. Energy. Yeah. The Capleton, he brings the energy on any rhythm you put him on.
Still does.
So that's kind of, if I had to pick one, and I'm actually going to make a concerted effort to try and see if I can get him on a song. I don't know what's if my finances justify it, and I don't know what the cost is.
Sometimes it's about who you know too, not necessarily finances.
Yeah. So he's one of the people I'd like to get on a song. I'm a big fan of Damian Marley. Or as far as he started in the dancehall realm, kind of went more to the roots now.
Right.
That's kind of where my trajectory is also.
Gotcha.
So as far as those, but anybody who has talent, man, I'll work with you. You know, if you're talking about the same type of stuff, you know, I ain't, like you said, I ain't a young boy anymore, so I'm more in the conscious, you know, intellectually conscious music now.
Gotcha.
So
now you look at you, and of course your brother's into fashion. How do you integrate that into your music as well?
Well, as you know, the whole dynamic with music has changed. You know,
it has,
and it's all about branding now.
Yes.
You really don't make any money
with the music itself,
especially with streaming. You don't make any music.
Right.
So it's more, you have to kind of position yourself in a place where you can capitalize on, you know, branding and give the people something that you know they look forward to seeing and want to support you. That's why every aspect of your life, you kind of have to live a life a certain way, where you can influence certain people in a certain way that make them want to support you.
Correct.
So like I have my own branding and stuff, and that's kind of where the dynamic is.
Right. When we talk about visuals, of course, we just talk about clothing. We talk about visual and your videos. Who comes up with the concept for those? Do you have a director, you know, yourself that comes up with that? Who comes up with that?
Well, this is one of the parts that was left out, which is not in my EPK or my bio. I actually have a filmmaking background. And I was a film director, writer. I actually have an award-winning film, which but I no longer own it because it was sold, and there's some legal dynamics behind that where you cannot get into it. But yeah, so that's kind of the background. Most of the visuals come from me, or I would see something that spark, you know, my creativity, and I'll put my own twist on it. So there's environmental influences as to where I want to take it. Yeah.
Would your brother ever help you direct or put something together for you in terms of fashion and all that good stuff?
As fashion, a lot of times what I do, I send stuff to him to like, you know, since he has more of a fashion background, he's more experienced in that realm, you know, on a broader scale. So I would send something to him and say, like, you know, see if I get a stamp of approval.
Now, for those who don't know, I interviewed his brother from Carib Lingo. So let me just drop that in there a few months back. So.
Yeah. Carib Lingo, the largest Caribbean clothing line.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah. I'm impressed. Wow. What's next for you?
So right now I do music full time. So that's what I do. Continue recording music. I don't want to... I'm not interested in any breaks or anything. So even as I speak now, I just dropped an album in June called The Book of Colle Kharis. And the reason for that name is because it's an insight into my life. Every song on that album is, you know, influenced by some part of my life. And so I'm continue writing. I have I think 30 something partially finished songs. and it's just a matter of when I'm gonna release them. So I want to get to the point where I drop one every month.
Really?
That's the goal. Yeah.
What inspires you though in terms of music?
I think my surroundings, and what I try to do is, which is different from my previous stuff, because I actually have an older album out called Defined Versatility. From
Yeah, I saw that.
That album is more of okay, I like this beat, you know, what I do and it sounds good to me, and it's ready to go out. This new album is more on life experiences, you know, just stuff that can influence people, help people in their life. I have song dealing with PTSD and depression.
Gotcha.
You know,
Gotcha.
I have a song called Life of Purpose, which is my number one moving, you know, my top song right now. And, you know, it's pretty much talking about putting yourself first.
Right.
I have a song called Not in the Mood, you know. Sometimes you're not in the mood.
That's true.
And, you know, that's that type of dynamic.
Gotcha.
It's more of a album that can really help people cope with certain life. So anything with influence you and that would trigger the direction I want to go in song. Because I have songs didn't really fit my album, which I think is really good songs, but it wasn't in that mold of, you know, motivating people and stuff. So.
Do you follow trends? You know, Afrobeat is a huge trend now. Do you follow those trends? Do you look at what's going on around you? It's
disingenuous for me to say no, because there's stuff that influences you don't even know.
True.
And I have a song called Born Ready, which, in my opinion, have a Afrobeat type element. And actually, my brother is featured on it. You didn't even know he was an artist.
I didn't know. He kind of left that out. He kind of left that out.
Yeah, so him and another DJ Finesse is his artist name and his DJ name. And another Guyanese artist, CBD the General.
Okay.
Really talented. And they're both on it. There's two songs on the album. A song called Ahusame Bougie and Born Ready. It's all Guyanese artists on it. And
what those are, is an Afrobeat type?
The Born Ready kind of have a more very Afro-centric vibe to it.
Gotcha.
But so I can't really say I'm not influenced by that.
Right.
But one thing I did do when I was writing for the album, whatever was in my playlist before I start writing my album, that's all I listened to. Nothing new. So from 2020, like early 2022, until the album was finished, that's all I listened to. Whatever I already have in my playlist. No one knew. Just for that reason, I didn't want to be overly influenced, because you don't really have a control of
what seeps in.
What seeps in.
Yeah. You know, when we listen to radio nowadays, you know, especially here in the US and even in Jamaica, which reggae originated, we don't hear a lot of reggae playing anymore. You know, reggae is not in the mainstream, quote unquote, anymore. You mostly find reggae in California and in Europe.
Hawaii too.
Hawaii, true.
Especially the
with Fiji and those guys, right? Yeah. But what influence? I always ask folks, what influence you to continue doing it? Because you know, people don't gravitate towards it anymore. Yeah,
when that kind of, I'm gonna step back a little bit. So that I was always drawn to the roots reggae style of music, but if you listen to my first album, you can kind of tell I'm experimenting with it, but I didn't have really that much confidence in my vocal range.
Gotcha.
So once I started working this album, that's where I kind of went head into, you know, that style of reggae. But that's always been where I feel more comfortable. You know, I can write a dancehall, and there's dancehall elements throughout my album.
Gotcha.
And even some songs I kind of fluctuate between verses of what style I bring. But I've always been gravitated to it. I've never noticed it because I'm not a big radio per se listener to that. I kind of more of a streaming. I'm one of those.
So you're new school.
Yeah.
See, I'm old school. So I do radio. So radio is important to me.
I'm new school in the sense that I listen to streams, but I'm old school in the sense that I listen to albums.
Gotcha.
So I would go out and I would listen to an album. I would, you know, get that entire catalog and listen to it instead of, you know, a song here and there.
Now, have you ever been to Jamaica?
Yes, I actually performed in Jamaica in 2000. I was in the military at the time. We did a show in Mandeville.
Okay.
Actually, my album was never out yet. A bunch of military guys were, we had a group called Black Diamond, and we all went on there and performed.
Because the reason why I asked you that is because a lot of folks say, well, you can't, bus in the U.S. You're based in Florida. So what do you do to get your music played? Again, you say you're not really into radio like that, but what do you do to get your music played on radio, per se, in Jamaica and those neighboring islands?
I think my whole approach to music is totally different. The whole bussing thing, because I control my whole album, so it's not a matter of bussing for me. I try to make good music.
Gotcha.
And what I do is, I kind of really be selective of the path I take, the avenue I go on, and pretty much put out the music. I think one of the major thing for me is performances.
Gotcha.
I focus more on my performance. I love performance. A lot of artists don't, especially new artists. I love performing. Performing is what really generates a solid fan base.
True.
It really, because even with the whole social media dynamic, a lot of people have this amount of followers. But are they fans? They're just there. And I remember I was placed my wife encouraged me to do a radio contest. I was the only reggae or fusion reggae artist. I got almost, I think, to the semifinals. I was knocking out people with 100 and something, and it was a vote base, Instagram vote base, 100,000 followers. I was like, how is that possible? At the time, I only had 400 followers, and I'm knocking them out.
Wow.
But the people who follow me are fans.
Got it.
They're
real people.
They're real people,
Right.
So I really can't get too tied up in the bossing element. I have a totally different career path, and there's no rush in me making it,
Right.
I don't have that starving artist type of challenge where it's like, okay, I have to do this, and hungry just to boss. I can just take my time and be very strategic and put out music that the people can vibe to.
You must have a really good support system.
I do that too. I have that too.
Because a lot of artists don't have that, and so they have to do things that they really don't want to do and compromise their art.
And that's why I can just do this stuff the way I have to, and not what the industry usually do.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Any collaborations, just a Caperton? How about producers?
As far as producers, so I produce also. I didn't produce on this album because I had a deadline. I wanted to get the music out. And to be honest, I don't know when I would produce again. Most of the beats on my first album was produced by me and this other producer called Master Wills. He's a rapper. So he produced a lot of my... what I do, I find producers, find their music, and I purchase it from them.
Okay, gotcha.
That way, I already know what I like, and we're now really working through the process. Eventually, I would like to have a producer where we can work together and be like, hey, this is the vibe. And plus, I write different too, so that I don't know how necessarily that work because I write to the beat.
Gotcha.
So
you don't write a song and then put a beat to it.
Yeah, and if you notice, a lot of artists, you'll notice their music sound the same as far as cadence and stuff. Yeah. Those are writers, so they write first, and then they force it to the beat. All of my song, if you listen to my album, it sounds totally different. Even my cadence, my voice.
Right.
There's some songs sound totally different, but because I do not write until I have the beat to write to, because the beat influence you when you go up, when you go down, pauses and stuff.
Got it.
So,
is it important for you in terms of accolades, awards? People knowing who you are, people putting a face to the music. How important is that for you?
It's not overly important, but it is important if you want to make it in the music business, and if you want to. You need to, it goes hand in hand. You need to be recognized, and for people to be drawn to you. They need to know who you are, and they need to know who you are as a person, or whatever you present. They need to be attracted to. As far as accolade, I would like to win a Grammy. That's the top of the and even right now I've already topped some charts as far as independent radio stations and stuff. There's a radio station in New York. I think it was #1 for like a whole month. So
That's good.
And, you know, right now, one of them I'm like number 3, and, you know,
Right.
and my music is playing in Australia already, and, you know, and this is a brick and mortar radio station,
Right.
FM radio stations, and some other places.
Have you traveled to those places?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Do you have a booking agent? Or you do everything in house yourself?
I pretty much do everything. I'm like 100% independent.
Gotcha.
That's gonna change a little bit in January, so I'm gonna get
Okay.
hopefully getting really busy soon.
right.
I'm already busy as it is, so
Right.
But that's supposed to change in January. So at least a lot of the administrative
Right,
stuff is not.
It's
gonna
tough for
be-
an artist to you know to be a manager and everything.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, it's a little. And I keep having to say I'm kind of unique in the sense that I'm doing this full time.
Gotcha.
So
True.
you know, if I still had a 9 to 5,
Right.
you know, it wouldn't
Wouldn't be the same.
be the same. Yeah.
How can folks get in contact with you if somebody wants to book you? How do
Okay.
they get in contact with you?
So the best place to go to is ColleKharis.com, and that's ColleKharis.com. And at the top menu,
Everything
just
is
hit
there.
booking, all that, every information you want to know more about me. My bio is very lengthy and very in depth. And I have a merch on there too. I have a merch.
Okay.
And
It
all
wouldn't
that
be you
stuff.
without merch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, merch runs in the family.
Merch.
You got the next single. What would be the next single?
So the next single, which really taps into the traditional essence of reggae.
Right.
Reggae is all about fighting oppression,
Yeah.
uplifting people. I'm writing a song called Echoes. Actually, I finished writing it. I have one more verse to record. I've actually brought half of my studio with me to Atlanta. It's called Echoes of Life, and it's talking about the Palestinian crisis. So it's very...
That's going to be deep, I'm
yeah.
sure. Wow.
It's very, very detailed. I'm actually planning on doing a remix right after that too. So I'm gonna start reaching out to some artists and see if they want to get onto it.
Okay. Yeah. Would you go back home to live and do music back home as well?
Listen, live. I don't know yet because I'm a little spoiled on certain things. I need to get over certain things first before I can go back. It's not necessarily no, but yeah.
You have to think about that.
There are certain things that annoy me that is become basic in our life day to day over here.
Right.
That when you start going to certain places, you don't have that. It's like, so I kind of have to decode myself first.
That's the same way when I go back home, man. I can stand maybe a week or two,
Yeah.
and then I gotta leave.
There's certain things that you kind of used to. It's like, why is this?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you an example. I went to I have an electrical engineering background. You probably noticed, and I went to with my mom to the telecommunications company to switch out our motor. And the guy was like, did you run a test on it to make sure it's okay? And he's like, yeah, I turned on, a light came on. that was his test.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was a test.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, yeah, all right. They're
Ignorance.
different, yeah. But
Talk to the folks and tell them what you'd like them to know about you. Just a brief synopsis.
yeah, so pretty much like I said before, I'm a Guyanese artist. You know, there's not many of us. Well, there's a lot of us, but there's not many of us in the limelight or getting any type of recognition. So for those Guyanese artists, I would like to say, you know, don't give up on your dreams. This is not an avenue of career path that takes, 2 years. Right. It might take 10 years before you actually get to that level where you're comfortable. So don't give up on your dreams. I want to give like an action plan for anybody who's out there interested in my work. I'm asking the favors to go onto Instagram and follow me. If you're on Spotify or any other streaming platform, any platform you can think about it, I'm there. And if I'm not, let me know and I'll get my music on there. Follow me on there, because it's all about streaming now and the algorithms. If the algorithm's not generating, you're really getting anywhere. Yep. So social media and the music platform. And speaking of my merch, I got something for you.
You do?
Bag. Yeah.
Oh man, I feel it's Christmas. Almost Christmas, right?
Yeah, it's Christmas time. As my brother Finesse say, you don't come empty-handed. So I got you the book of Colle Kharis. That's the behind the scene.
Look at this. Thank you.
And a Tomorrow's Freedom.
Wow. Thank you.
Let me, if you go to the last page.
It's so new. It's like how they want to open.
Yeah, so, yeah. If you go here, got a little something for you here. I just didn't know how you want it. I didn't know how you want it to be. Your name is Ricovibes or whatever.
Ricovibes,
okay.
yeah. Thank you. This is, man. Thank you. Okay, let me read it. I'd like to sincerely thank you for being a part of my musical journey. Your warm welcome on the Take 5 show and dedication to promoting Caribbean culture means the world to me. Your support in showcasing the Colle Kharis brand and music is truly appreciated. Honor and respect, Colle Kharis.
All day.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you. This is great. And then this is your brand.
Yeah, Tomorrow's Freedom. I have a song called Tomorrow's Freedom. Mm-hmm. You know, they always tell you know, in our community, when you try to ask for something, you ask for a freedom, you ask for reparation. They always say either you don't get it or it's coming.
It's coming.
Now, we want tomorrow's freedom today.
Today.
Yeah. So that's what's behind that song. But
wow.
Yeah.
Again, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you having me.
Continued success to you. You know, good luck with your journey. And you got to come to my country. You got to come to St. Kitts Nevis.
Oh yeah, man. And anywhere where they love reggae music, I'll be there.
Absolutely. we got a music festival in June, so you got to get there at some point. Yeah. All right.
Just need to know who I need to talk to, and I'm there.
I'll get in contact with them and have them get in contact with you or your management.
I appreciate what you do for the culture. Yeah.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My special guest today on Take 5, folks, Colle Kharis. So I don't mess it up again.
COLLEKHARIS. And that's my handle on Instagram. No matter where you go, it's the same handle.
And the website is
ColleKharis.com.
There you go. Yeah. We'll catch you next time on another edition of Take 5.
This episode of Take 5 with Ricovibes is brought to you by
the most talked about Friday night party goes down every Friday. Feel Good Friday. Each and every Friday night inside Bliss, featuring Atlanta's hottest DJs weekly with guaranteed vibes. Free birthday sections plus lots of drinking bottle specials all night. To reserve VIP sections, call 404-304-9968. Everyone free with RSVP. Get tickets online at feelgoodfridayreturn.eventbrite.com. It's a vibe. Feel Good Fridays at Bliss Lounge, 5471 Memorial Drive in Stone Mountain.